Before we get started, I wanted to let everybody know that I have two books for sale on Kindle. One is called The Recommended Reading for the True Conservative, and the other one is called Bad Democrat. Both are available on Kindle through the Kindle Unlimited program or for sale at $3.99. And now, back to the podcast.
My fingers are no longer nimble. I can't, if I'm pissed off at somebody, I can't give them the finger. Instead, I give them the claw. I'm a worrier. I worry about everything. I worry about dying young. I'll go to hell.
Good morning. It's Thursday, June the 18th, Psycho Thursday, and this is The True Conservative. Welcome to all the butchers, bakers, and candlestick makers out there. I'm Ron, your host, and the only true conservative in the United States today. So today, after the Serenity Prayer and the patriotic song of the day, we'll have motivation, meditation, and psychopathy. All that and more when I get back. God, grant me the serenity to accept the things I should not change, the courage to change the things I should, and the wisdom to know the difference. Amen. Thank you. Now, Varney and Company.
Somebody picks it up now. Stu, take it away.
All right, good morning, Maria. Good morning, everyone. President Trump has signed the Memorandum of Understanding, which formally extends the ceasefire with Iran. There are now 60 days to negotiate details. If it doesn't get done, the president says, quote, we go back to bombing. Under the deal, the strait reopens. Sanctions are lifted. Iran reaffirms it will not develop nuclear weapons. There will be a $300 billion reconstruction plan. Some frozen Iranian assets will be returned. Democrats are skeptical. They don't think the deal is a win. Some Republicans are skeptical. They don't trust the Iranians. But the markets like it. Will you look at this? The Dow Industrial is up probably over 200 points. The S&P is up 60-odd points. But the NASDAQ, whoa, look at that, 500 points high. This is pre-market stuff, but that's up 1.7%. And here's a good reason why the market's doing well. The price of oil, it's way down. Look at that, $75 a barrel as we speak. And the price of gasoline, the national average for regular, that is below $4 a gallon. First time we've seen that in about 3 months. It's now $3.99. California, you still got to pay $5.64, but diesel, that's come down a few cents. You're back to an average of $5.12. Bitcoin, not much movement, $64,000, $64.2. On the show today, new Fed Chair Kevin Warsh, he met the press. He offered some complicated and technical statements. Reading between the lines, many analysts believe he will hold off on rate hikes until next year. The World Cup, man, it's going well. Some of the big established teams are having a really hard time beating upstarts, especially from Africa. Portugal, with Ronaldo playing, could not beat Congo DR. Spain couldn't beat the Cape Verde Islands. And yes, it is high-quality soccer. Lionel Messi scored a hat-trick. Fans from all over the world have flooded tournament cities. Who could forget thousands of bagpipe-playing Scots taking over Boston? Big game tomorrow. Team USA plays Australia, and it is on Fox. 1 hour from now, the Knicks start their ticker-tape parade to celebrate their NBA championship. 4 million people expected to attend. You can see them all over the streets already. They will be guarded by 10,000 police officers. New York's hoping for a rebound. The mood is very positive. Thursday, June 18th, 2026.
And that was Stuart Varney. He showed up for work. Nonprofit news now. Back in a minute. Thank you. The bad Democrat might say the other person is too sensitive or that they've been making a big deal out of nothing. These dismissals are designed to invalidate the experience of the person they've harmed. It's not just that they don't feel remorse, it's that they actively resent the expectation of it. To the bad Democrat, being called out is more offensive than the original offense. They feel more inconvenienced by the emotional reactions of others and often see empathy as weakness or sentimentality. The implications of this are profound in relationships, workplaces, and communities. Without empathy or remorse, the bad Democrat becomes incapable of true intimacy or trust. Their interactions are transactional. People become tools or obstacles. If someone offers loyalty, they exploit it. If someone poses a challenge, they undermine or discard them. Over time, those close to them begin to feel invisible, not seen as full people, but as roles to be played or resources to be extracted. The emotional one-sidedness creates a climate of coldness and confusion. Those who try to connect deeply are left feeling hollow, as if speaking into an emotional void where nothing comes back. A particularly revealing sign of a bad Democrat is their tendency to distort the truth to serve their own agenda. This isn't about occasional exaggeration or the white lies that people sometimes tell in complex social situations. It's a pattern, a repeated and intentional manipulation of reality designed to confuse, control, or protect a false image. These individuals have a flexible relationship with the truth, bending it whenever necessary to suit their goals, protect their egos, or discredit others. And the danger lies not in just the lies themselves, but in how convincingly and confidently they are delivered. When the bad Democrat habitually distorts the truth, they're creating a shifting reality. They rewrite events, omit key details, reframe conversations, and selectively emphasize certain facts while burying others. The narrative they offer is rarely rooted in what actually happened. It's shaped by what they need others to believe, and the stories they tell can be remarkably compelling. They often mix truth with fiction in just the right balance to make it believable. They might even believe their own lies to some extent, convincing themselves that their version is justified or more emotionally accurate than the actual facts. This distortion serves multiple purposes. First, it allows them to avoid responsibility. If the truth reflects poorly on them, they alter it until it doesn't. If they were cruel, they say they were misunderstood. If they failed, they blame someone else. The goal is never self-understanding or growth. It's self-protection. Second, it gives them power over others. By controlling the narrative, bad Democrats control perception. They plant seeds of doubt in the minds of others, obscure the intentions and actions of those around them, and frame themselves as either the hero or the victim, depending on which role gets them the most sympathy or leverage. A common tactic in this distortion is gaslighting, a deliberate attempt to make someone question their own memory, judgment, or sanity. The bad Democrat might flatly deny something they just said days ago, or claim that events happened in a completely different way. When confronted with evidence, they sidestep, deflect, or attack the credibility of the person presenting it. The aim is not clarity, it's confusion. The more disoriented the other person becomes, the easier they are to manipulate. And the longer this continues, the more the bad person's version of reality begins to take hold. Bad Democrats also often create conflicting versions of themselves tailored to different audiences. To one group, they are charming, loyal, and principled. To another, they might be bitter, cynical, and vengeful. This fragmentation allows them to operate without accountability. If anyone begins to piece together the contradictions, they quickly label that person as unreliable, jealous, or unstable. Their lies are rarely random. They are strategically placed to divide people, isolate critics, and maintain control. Over time, they build a web of deceit so intricate that even they struggle to keep track of it. What makes this behavior so destructive is that it erodes the basic foundation of trust. When truth becomes negotiable, relationships begin to crumble. People can't rely on what was said, can't resolve conflicts with clarity, can't build anything stable. The person who distorts the truth introduces a fog into every interaction, and that fog makes it impossible to see things clearly. It becomes hard to tell who said what actually happened, or how someone truly feels. This destabilization is not a side effect. It's the point. It keeps others from being able to challenge or confront them effectively. The worst part is that when they are eventually caught, they rarely express remorse. Instead, they pivot. They spin a new story, they accuse others of lying or conspiring against them, or they simply move on, unconcerned with the wreckage they've left behind. For them, truth is not a value, it's a tool. And as long as it can be shaped, hidden, or weaponized, they will never hesitate to do so. One of the clearest and most dangerous indicators of a bad Democrat is their tendency to repeat destructive patterns without any real sense of accountability. Back in a minute. Thank you. And now, Dr. Berg.
If your memory is getting worse, I'm going to let you know right now, it's not your age. Today, we're going to talk about what happens to your brain when your blood sugar spikes for more than 10 to 20 years. And the reason why this video is so important is not necessarily just for you, but for your loved ones, because sooner or later, you're going to know someone that's going to develop this. And I'm going to give you the information that you need to turn things around. Hopefully, because there is a limitation of matter, a point of no return if it's too far advanced. But what you need to know about dementia and memory loss and cognitive loss is these symptoms occur long after the problem is started. And so this is the part where medicine focuses on. We're going to go earlier in showing what happens at the earlier stages. In the first stage, you have the energy drop in the brain. Your memory's still good. You don't have very many symptoms, if any, other than maybe some fatigue. And then you go into stage 2. This is where you start developing certain protein residue in your brain that don't get cleared out. And another thing that happens is a certain part of the brain that's responsible for memory starts shrinking. It's called the hippocampus. And it's a energy hog. Out of all the parts of the brain, this is the part that has the most dense mitochondria, which is the energy factory. So it requires a lot of energy to work. But at this point, your memory is still fine. It's when we get into stage 3 where you're starting to notice certain things, especially with remembering names. Your ability to learn goes down. And this can occur when you're in your 30s or even your 40s. Now, the problem between stage 3 and 4 is you start losing more of your ability to notice your own cognitive decline. So in many cases at stage 4, your family notices your memory issues more than you do. And this is usually when you're diagnosed. And the problem with this is the traditional tests that doctors do, they're not going to pick it up because they're not looking for it, because their medicine is mainly focused on symptoms. And if you don't have any, they're not going to test it. However, if you wanted to know what test to do, it would be a PET scan. Okay, that would have picked it up in the earlier stages. Now, what's a PET scan? Maybe you've heard of a PET scan in relationship to cancer because it's the same scan. In cancer, they use a PET scan to identify areas of your body that are in hyper mode where you have a lot of glucose uptake, okay, because cancer loves glucose. The problem with this scan is it's very expensive and the doctors aren't going to do it unless there's significant reason to do it. And if there's no symptoms, they're probably not going to do it. In Alzheimer's and other forms of dementia, it's just the opposite. You have a hypo metabolism of glucose. And that gives a big clue on really what Alzheimer's is, because they call it type 3 diabetes. So it's an energy problem, because when you have high levels of glucose running through your bloodstream, your body then compensates and it starts to shut down your ability to uptake that glucose. And the term for that is called insulin resistance. But you get insulin resistance in the brain. And so there's a lot of glucose flowing through the body, but it's unavailable to the neurons. If your environment is off, everything else struggles. It's like a fish tank. Pollute the water and the fish get sick. You could feed them the best food. You can treat every single symptom. But if the water stays toxic, nothing recovers. The body runs on 10 signals like insulin, cortisol, inflammation, sleep quality, gut function. Every one of them affects how you feel. But there is always one signal that is more broken than the rest. And until you fix that one, everything else stays stuck. I built a free 2-minute quiz that finds it for you. It tells you which one of the main signals is holding your body back right now. Click the link in the description, take the quiz, and stop guessing. So you want to ask yourself 3 simple questions, okay? Number 1. Do you need to eat every 2 or 3 hours to avoid getting irritable or having brain fog? That is a really good indicator of this blood sugar issue, okay? Even if you don't have diabetes, because even diabetes takes a long time to show up. Number 2, do you wake up between 2 or 3 a.m. in the middle of the night for no reason? That is not a stress or cortisol problem. That is a blood sugar problem. Number 3, after a high carbohydrate meal, do you feel mentally sluggish or do you need a nap? If you answered yes to any of these 3, you could be somewhere in these stages right here. In other words, I'm increasing your awareness so you can do something about it now. When you have high levels of glucose flowing through your bloodstream and high levels of insulin, there's something that happens to vitamin B1. There will be a 16 to 24 times loss of B1 through your urine. In other words, the more carbohydrates that you consume, the more B1 you are going to be deficient in. Now, what is the significance of a loss of B1? Remember we talked about this energy factory being a problem, and then there's a source of fuel called glycolysis, where the body really only gets a small amount of fuel versus if you use the whole mitochondria, you'd get a much larger unit of energy. In diabetes, also in cancer, and in Alzheimer's, it's not that this mitochondria is actually damaged. Just the door is damaged. The entry to this unit. If you don't have B1, this door cannot be fixed. And you will generate a lot of lactic acid in the body. And this is what they found with Alzheimer's. There's a lot of lactic acid built up in the brain, which actually decreases oxygen and causes additional problems. So it's the excessive carbohydrates that are depleting the B1, which is destroying the door to allow you to have energy. Picture it like an engine. You have a carburetor mixing oxygen with fuel to allow this engine to work, but you need a spark plug. B1 is the spark plug. Now, what's really interesting, right now, there are researchers studying B1 in relationship to Alzheimer's, and they're testing the form of B1 called benfotiamine. I've talked about this many, many years ago, but now they're finally doing a study on it. So the National Institute on Aging right now is doing this massive phase 2 trial testing on benfotiamine across 50 different sites. I know with type 2 diabetes, they use benfotiamine for peripheral neuropathy. Even in a lot of other videos I've done, I've talked extensively on benfotiamine and what it does. It helps clean out the side effects, the toxicity of glucose byproducts. It allows the myelin sheath, the coating around the nerves, to be regenerated. In practice, I've used B1 for helping with nervous tension, anxiety. But the big reason why people are deficient in B1 is because they're consuming too many carbs, and too many carbs eat up the reserves of B1, leaving you high and dry. Even when we look at refined wheat or refined grains, like over 85% of that B1 is taken out. So when you're eating all this refined carbohydrate, sugar, and starch, you are creating a huge deficit of B1, shutting the door to your energy factory. And now the body has to use the backup energy unit. And unfortunately, there's not a lot of energy around, so you're going to be tired. So regardless of where you are at, the absolute most important action that you can take is to start reducing the refined sugars and carbohydrates, because...
And that was Dr. Berg. Back in a minute. Thank you. Now, Georgia Meloni. Thank you. Now, a little motivation.
When no one's around, it's just you and your shadow. What are you going to do, man? When everything says quit, you going.
Life is going to test that will. Every time. Life is going to see how bad you want what you say you want.
It's how we deal with these things in life that we find out who we are. These moments of depression when things go wrong. A girl breaking up with you, getting fired from a job, losing your money. These are all lessons. They're presents in a way. But it's the perception of how you see that present. Do you allow it to destroy you? Or do you allow it to change you?
I'm telling you right now, I know it's hard. I'm not going to sit here and pretend like it's going to be easy. I know it's not. But I'm telling you, the sooner you deal with it, and the sooner you get past it, the sooner you can get on with the rest of your life.
A man's character is not judged after he celebrates a victory, but by what he does when his back is against the wall. So no matter how great the setback, how severe the failure, you never give up.
You're going to fail. You're going to make some mistakes. You got to fight. You will have opposition. Things going to happen to you in life. It's called life, and it's not personal. Stuff's going to happen.
Sure, you might lose comfort and sleep. Sure, it might be frightening, but so what?
The darker the night, the brighter the morning.
You will fail your way to success. It doesn't matter how many times you fail. It doesn't matter how many times people tell you that you can't do it. It doesn't matter if you don't have a dime in the bank.
The thing that's causing you pain today actually has purpose in your life. Every season you can learn. Every season you can grow. Every challenge is developing you.
That which does not kill you will make you stronger.
You keep standing. No matter how rough the sea, you keep standing. No matter what, you don't give up.
Your problem, it might not make any sense. And your pain might not make any sense. And your circumstance might be illogical. But listen to me. If your life at times feels like, looks like labor, you are
Losers surrender. Losers give in. But winners, they are fueled by the storm. Pain actually pushes them to greatness. They actually love it. They actually feel it. They like the pressure. And if you can grind your way through the hell, if you can grind your way through that defeat, if you can grind your way through that pain, if you can grind your way through it, I'm telling you, it's going to come to pass. Say it with me. Breathe life into whatever that thing is. Whatever your circumstances are, say with me, I can. I will. I will get through this. I must. It's going to rain sometimes. I can. You're going to feel discouraged sometimes. I will. No matter what the obstacle, I must. I am a winner. I will not give up. I will not surrender. And in the midst of hell, and in the midst of trials, and in the midst of tribulation, I shall rise. I will not give up, and I will not give in. I will use the pain to push me to greatness. Why? Because I am a winner, and all I do is rise above it. All I do is win. All I do is conquer. I will never surrender. I will grind my way through the disappointments. I will grind my way through the defeat. I will grind my way through it, and I shall be victorious.
And that was a little bit of motivation. Back in a minute. Thank you. Now a little meditation. And that was a little meditation. Back in a minute. Thank you. Now, Giorgia Meloni.
Cari maturandi, in bocca al lupo. Ricordatevi tutti i sacrifici che avete fatto per arrivare dove siete? Tutte le volte che avete pensato che non ce l'avreste fatta e poi ce l'avete fatta? Tutte le volte che siete stati fieri di voi? Fate una sintesi di tutto questo, portatelo con voi all'esame di maturità, dimostrate chi siete. E questa sarà la forma più bella di iniziare una stagione completamente nuova nella vostra vita, nella quale alla fine, al di là di tutto quello che studiate, di tutto quello che imparate, di tutto quello che riuscite ad apprendere da un libro di testo, vale quello che siete in grado di tirare fuori da voi stessi, il valore che siete in grado di dimostrare. Quel valore si chiama determinazione, si chiama disponibilità al sacrificio, si chiama coraggio, si chiama umanità. Tirate fuori questo e non avrete nessun problema. Bocca al lupo.
And that was Giorgia Meloni. Back in a minute. Thank you. Now, Psychopathy.
Listen carefully. The world does not fear loud men. It studies them. It waits for them to expose their wounds, their anger, their need for approval. A loud man gives away his position before the battle even begins. But the cold man is different. He enters the room without noise. Yet everyone eventually feels his presence. He does not rush to speak. He watches. He measures. He notices who is loyal only when things are easy, who smiles with envy, who talks too much, who reveals weakness through emotion. This is where your transformation begins. Not with rage, not with revenge, not with dramatic speeches about how strong you are. It begins when you stop reacting like a wounded boy and start observing like a strategist. Machiavelli understood that power belongs to the man who can control himself while others lose control in front of him. So from today, you stop giving people free access to your mind. You stop explaining your pain to those who caused it. You stop begging to be understood by people who benefit from misunderstanding you. A cold man still feels everything, but he does not let everything move him. He feels betrayal, but he does not collapse. He feels insult, but he does not bark. He feels anger, but he turns it into discipline. That is the difference between a weak man and a dangerous man. One reacts, the other calculates. One begs for attention, the other builds in silence. If they underestimate you, let them. If they doubt you, let them. If they think your silence means defeat, let them enjoy the illusion. You are not here to impress the crowd. You are here to become untouchable. Comment these words, I move cold now. Because from this point forward, you move cold, think deep, and win quietly. Number 2, think deeper than they can see. You must understand this. Deep thinking is not daydreaming. It is not sitting in sadness, replaying old wounds, and calling it wisdom. Deep thinking is strategy. It is the ability to step back while everyone else is trapped inside the noise. Most men think only when life forces them to suffer. They wait until they lose the woman, lose the money, lose the respect, lose the opportunity, and then suddenly they become philosophers. But the man who wins quietly does not wait for disaster to teach him. He studies before the damage. He asks questions before he is trapped. He watches patterns before they become chains. That is what makes him dangerous. He does not just see what people do. He asks why they do it. He does not just hear what they say. He listens for what they are hiding. He does not just feel pressure. He studies who is applying it and what they want from his reaction. This is cold power psychology. Your mind must become a courtroom where every emotion is questioned before it is allowed to speak. Anger walks in and you ask, what are you trying to protect? Fear walks in and you ask, what are you trying to prevent? Desire walks in and you ask, are you leading me toward power or toward weakness? A shallow man obeys every feeling like a servant. A deep man interrogates every feeling like a judge. Machiavelli knew that men are moved by fear, hunger, vanity, and advantage. So stop acting shocked when people act in their own interest. Stop taking betrayal as a surprise. Stop confusing smiles with loyalty and attention with respect. Think deeper. Ask what they gain. Ask what they fear losing. Ask why they appeared now, why they disappeared then, why they praise you in public but compete with you in silence. When you think this way, you stop being manipulated by appearances. You become harder to fool, harder to provoke, harder to control. You no longer move because someone triggered you. You move because the move serves your future. That is the difference between emotion and command. Comment this phrase if your mind is becoming sharper, I think deeper than they see. Because from today, you will not be dragged by noise, seduced by flattery, or broken by pressure. You will think deep, speak less, and let your results reveal what your mouth never needed to announce. Number 3, master the art of silent movement. The loud man announces every plan because he is secretly begging the world to validate his ambition. He tells people what he will build, what he will become, how hard he is working, how dangerous he is about to be, and every time he speaks, he leaks power. Understand this clearly. The more people know about your direction, the easier it becomes for them to distract you, doubt you, copy you, compete with you, or quietly pray against you. Silent movement is not weakness. It is protection. It is strategy. It is a refusal to let ordinary minds contaminate extraordinary goals. A man who wins quietly does not need applause during construction. He does not need witnesses while he is bleeding through discipline. He does not need people clapping for the foundation before the empire is standing. He works where they cannot see him. He improves where they cannot interrupt him. He disappears from the noise long enough to become someone the noise can no longer touch. This is Machiavellian patience. You do not show every card. You do not explain every move. You do not expose every wound. You let people see the result, not the process. Because most people cannot handle your process. They will laugh at the early stage. They will question your timing. They will mock your sacrifice. They will call your isolation arrogance because your discipline makes their laziness uncomfortable. Let them talk. Their words are not chains unless you obey them. Move in silence until your habits become dangerous. Move in silence until your body, your mind, your money, your focus, and your reputation begin to speak in a language they cannot argue with. The cold man understands that privacy is power. He does not post every struggle. He does not confess every weakness. He does not run to people for emotional permission. He chooses the mission over the mood. He chooses execution over explanation. He knows that a seed makes no sound underground, but when it breaks the surface, even concrete has to move. That is how you must become. Quiet in the dirt, ruthless in the growth, unavoidable in the result. Stop telling people you are changing. Change. Stop telling them you are healing. Heal. Stop telling them you are coming back stronger. Come back so different they have to meet you again. Comment this phrase if you understand the law. My silence is my strategy. Because from today, your moves become private, your standards become higher, your discipline becomes colder, and your success becomes the only announcement the world is allowed to hear. Number 4. Control the face, control the room. A man who cannot control his face cannot control his fate. Read that again inside your mind until it becomes law. Your face is the first battlefield. Before you speak, people are already collecting information from your eyes, your jaw, your posture, your breathing, your hesitation. They study your reactions to discover where to press, where to flatter, where to threaten, where to invade. This is why emotional men are so easy to control. Their anger exposes their pride. Their sadness exposes their dependency. Their excitement exposes their hunger. Their fear exposes their limits. But the cold man understands something deeper. The world cannot use what it cannot read. He does not wear every emotion like a public announcement. He does not let disappointment drag his shoulders down. He does not let disrespect twist his face into weakness. He does not let desire make him desperate. He trains his expression like a weapon. Calm eyes, still breath, relaxed jaw, slow speech, controlled silence. This is not acting. This is command. Machiavelli knew that perception shapes power. It is not enough to be strong. You must appear unshaken when the weak expect you to break. You must appear composed when the foolish expect you to explode. You must appear patient when your enemy wants you rushed, sloppy, and emotional. Understand this. Many people do not need to defeat you. They only need to provoke you into defeating yourself. They throw small insults to see if your ego is cheap. They create confusion to see if your mind is fragile. They withhold attention to see if your self-worth depends on their approval. They speak behind your back to see if you will abandon your mission just to chase explanations. Do not give them that victory. Let your calm become expensive. Let your reaction become rare. Let your silence become uncomfortable for those who expected access to your weakness. When you feel the urge to react, pause. When you feel the need to defend yourself, pause. When you feel anger rising like fire in your chest, pause longer. That pause is where power is born. That pause separates the slave from the strategist. The slave obeys the emotion immediately. The strategist studies it, contains it, and converts it into movement. You are not suppressing yourself because you are afraid. You are mastering yourself because you are dangerous when disciplined. A man with an unreadable face becomes difficult to play with. People start choosing their words carefully around him. They stop assuming he is easy. They feel the weight of his presence because he does not leak his inner world for free. Comment this phrase if you are learning control. My calm is my weapon. Because from this day forward, you will not be baited, rushed, exposed, or broken by small minds. You will control the face, control the breath, control the room, and move through pressure like a man who already knows he cannot be shaken. Number 5. Detach before they use your attachment against you. Attachment is where most men become weak. Not love, not loyalty, not ambition. Attachment. There is a difference. Love can be calm. Loyalty can be noble. Ambition can be powerful. But attachment becomes a chain when your peace depends on someone's reply, someone's approval, someone's presence, someone's opinion, or someone's decision to value you. The moment another person controls your emotional temperature, they do not need a weapon against you. You handed them the handle. This is why the man who moves cold must learn detachment before he learns dominance. Because if you cannot walk away, you can be controlled. If you need them to understand you, they can confuse you. If you need them to choose you, they can delay you. If you need them to respect you, they can starve you. And if you need them to love you more than you love your own future, they can destroy your discipline with a single look. Machiavelli understood that power bends toward the man who is less dependent. The one who needs less is harder to bargain with. The one who can leave is harder to threaten. The one who has built himself into his own source of stability does not panic when people change their tone, their loyalty, or their position. Listen carefully. Detachment does not mean becoming cruel. It means becoming free. It means you stop making a home inside people who can evict you at any moment. It means you stop worshipping attention as if it is oxygen. It means you stop confusing access with intimacy, chemistry with commitment, and temporary affection with permanent loyalty. A cold man does not chase what keeps running. He observes it. He learns from it. Then he withdraws his energy and places it where it multiplies. That is how you become dangerous. You stop arguing with people who are committed to misunderstanding you. You stop bleeding for relationships where respect is negotiated every week. You stop begging for consistency from people who only appear when they need your warmth, your help, your validation, or your strength. You must become calm enough to say, I wanted this, but I do not need this. That sentence is liberation. It breaks the spell. It returns the throne of your mind back to you. Most men lose because they cannot tolerate absence. They panic when someone pulls away. They overtext. They overexplain. They lower their standards. They become smaller just to keep someone close. Never do that again. If they leave, let the door close quietly. If they doubt you, let your improvement answer slowly. If they ignore you, let your silence teach them the cost of losing access. Do not become bitter. Become better. Do not become needy. Become necessary to your own mission. Your purpose must be heavier than your loneliness. Your discipline must be stronger than your craving. Your future must be more seductive than their attention. Comment these words if you feel the shift. I detach to dominate myself. Because from this day forward, you will not be owned by desire, weakened by absence, or controlled by emotional hunger. You will care with control, love with dignity, leave with silence, and build yourself into a man who never begs to be chosen. Number 6. Become disciplined. Enough to be unpredictable. Discipline is not about looking impressive for one day. Discipline is about becoming impossible to predict, impossible to weaken, and impossible to pull back into the old version of yourself. Most men are predictable because their weakness has a schedule. You know when they will quit. You know when they will get lazy. You know when they will text back. You know when they will react. You know what kind of temptation can break them, what kind of disrespect can control them, what kind of comfort can soften them. That is why they lose quietly while pretending they are unlucky. But the cold man does not live like that. He trains himself until his habits become a fortress. He wakes up when his emotions beg for more sleep. He works when his mind looks for excuses. He stays silent when his ego wants to speak. He walks away when desire tries to negotiate with his standards. He keeps going when motivation dies, because he never built his life on motivation. Motivation is a visitor. Discipline is a citizen. Motivation knocks on your door when life feels easy. Discipline lives with you when life becomes ugly. Understand this. You cannot become untouchable with a soft routine. You cannot win quietly while living loudly, randomly, emotionally, and carelessly. Every weak habit is a secret doorway into your life. Every uncontrolled appetite becomes a leash. Every excuse becomes a crack in your armor. If you cannot control your sleep, your food, your lust, your phone, your spending, your anger, your tongue, your attention, then do not speak of power yet. Power begins in the small private wars nobody sees. The war against staying in bed. The war against checking who viewed your story. The war against proving a point. The war against wasting hours scrolling through lives that are not yours. The war against returning to people who poison your peace just because loneliness feels heavy. This is where the man is built, not on stage, not in public, not when applause is present. He is built in the silent rooms, the lonely mornings, the repeated decisions, the moments where nobody would know if he failed except him. Machiavelli would tell you that fortune favors the prepared mind, but fortune does not respect the careless man. Opportunity is not enough. If the opportunity arrives and you are mentally weak, physically drained, emotionally dependent, and spiritually distracted, you will waste what another man would turn into a kingdom. This is why your discipline must become cold, not emotional, not dramatic, cold. You do the work because it must be done. You improve because weakness is expensive. You stay ready because life does not warn you before testing you. You sharpen your body because confidence grows differently when you respect the man in the mirror. You sharpen your mind because fools are controlled by whatever is loudest. You sharpen your finances because poverty of options makes men beg in rooms where they should negotiate. You sharpen your speech because loose words create unnecessary enemies. You sharpen your silence because not every truth deserves an audience. When you become disciplined, people stop understanding you. They will say, "You changed." Good. They will say you are acting distant. Good. They will say you are too serious now. Good. That means the old access is closing. That means your standards are rising. That means the version of you they could predict is dying. Let it die without a funeral. The new you does not need to explain why he no longer plays small games. He does not need to apologize for being harder to distract. He does not need to make lazy people comfortable with his ambition. Comment this phrase if you are done being easy to break. My discipline makes me dangerous. Because from this day forward, your habits will protect you. Your silence will sharpen you. Your standards will separate you. and your discipline will turn you into a man they can no longer read, control, or stop. Number 7, learn to read people without needing them. The man who wins quietly does not study people because he is obsessed with them. He studies people because he refuses to be blind around them. There is a difference. Weak men watch people to feed insecurity. Dangerous men watch people to gather truth. You must learn this skill deeply. People will tell you who they are long before they confess it with words. Their patterns speak. Their timing speaks. Their silence speaks. Their excuses speak. Their jealousy speaks. Their sudden kindness speaks. Their disrespect in small moments speaks louder than their loyalty in speeches. Most men get destroyed because they listen to promises and ignore behavior. They fall in love with words. They trust the smile. They believe the apology before they study the repetition. But the cold man does not do that. He respects patterns more than performances. He watches what people do when they gain power, when they lose control, when you say no, when you stop being useful, when you succeed, when they think you are not watching. That is where character reveals itself. Machiavelli understood that men are often loyal to advantage before they are loyal to principle. So do not be shocked when people change when the benefit changes. Do not collapse when someone who clapped for you in weakness becomes uncomfortable with your strength. Do not bleed because a person who needed your light starts hating your rise. This is human nature. Accept it coldly, study it calmly, move accordingly. You do not need to hate people to understand them. You do not need to become paranoid to protect yourself. You only need to stop being naive. When someone shows envy, do not argue with it. Reduce access. When someone shows inconsistency, do not beg for clarity. Adjust your expectations. When someone disrespects you in jokes, do not laugh just to keep peace. Notice the blade hidden inside the humor. When someone only appears during your abundance and disappears during your struggle, do not call it confusion. Call it evidence. A deep man does not need repeated betrayal to learn one lesson. Once is information. Twice is confirmation. 3 times is self-betrayal. Your life must no longer be a charity house for people who keep proving they cannot handle access to you. You must become selective, coldly selective, not arrogant, not bitter, selective, because every person around you is either feeding your discipline or feeding your distraction.
And that was Psychopathy. Back in a minute. Thank you. This is Ron, your host, the only true conservative in the United States today, bidding adios to all the butchers, bakers, and candlestick makers out there, and reminding you that you're not neutral and that the government has no rights.